All right, so prime factorization. First of all, the word prime. So a prime number is a number that's divisible by only one and itself. So for example, the number 2, or 3, or 5, or 7. Those are all examples of prime numbers. Factorization deals with factors, which are values that can be divided into some number. So for example, the number 10, its factors could be 1, 10, 5, and 2. All of those values go into the number 10. But we're trying to find the prime numbers, the list of prime numbers that when multiplied together will give you 150. And probably the most common way to find this is to use what's called a factor tree. So we're going to find the prime factorization of 150. So I'm just going to think of two numbers, and I really like these because they're kind of like puzzles, and you don't necessarily just have one way to do them. So I'm going to think of two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get 150. And so right away, I think, okay, 15 times 10, right, would give me 150. Great. Okay, now I'm going to start working with these numbers individually. So 15, what two numbers multiply and give me 15? Well, the numbers 3 and 5. Okay, now what I notice here is I can't break down either of these numbers any further other than 1 times that number, and we don't need to do that. And guess what? These are, and that is because these are prime numbers. So those are going to stay where they are. Okay, and I'm going to come over here to 10. All right, what can I multiply together to get 10? Well, I'm thinking 5 and 2. And once again, I can't break those down any further, so those will be part of my prime factorization. So what we learn here is that if we multiply these values together, 3 times 5 times 5 times 2, if I multiply all of these together, I will get back to 150, which is pretty cool. Now, a lot of the time, these will be written with exponents in this way. So if I have a value that appears more than once, for example, 5, 5 times 5 can be written as 5 squared. So I could write this as, and usually they could go in order. So 2 times 3 times, and instead of writing 5 twice, I'm going to write 5 squared. And this would be the prime factorization for the number 150. And sometimes these factor trees will get a little bit longer, but you just follow the same process until you find your prime factorization. And you'll notice I highlighted the numbers. I really recommend when you come to a dead end like this, you highlight those values. Okay, one more could be the number 115. So 115, I start to think of the numbers that would work out for 115. Well, that might take me a little bit longer. Wasn't quite as quick as 150. But I know that 5 times